can reach out to the National Commissions for Persons with Disabilities at 396-8700.
Your number one team in the North. Only the sun covers the Bahamas better.
And that concludes the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. I'm Ramiko Knowles.
And I'm Jay Philippe.
Thanks so much for watching. Here's a live look at the Bahamas Tonight coming your way.
ZNS News is brought to you by the new BTC. Fiber is here. Faster, stronger, more reliable. Together, we are unstoppable. Switch today.
New at 11, Junkanoo stakeholders coming face-to-face with the minister in a meeting that at times grew heated. This as the two sides attempt to reset after the fallout from a new proposed Junkanoo bill. Late details from tonight's meeting straight ahead. The Prime Minister moving a series of financial bills in Parliament today. Hear how he thinks these new bills will improve the country's financial services sector. And off to the Far East, this group of Bahamian students are headed on a journey of a lifetime. There's lots to stay up for. The Bahamas Tonight at 11, right here, right now. And thank you for staying up. I'm Corval Pye from In Tonight for Royston. And tonight here at 11, that highly anticipated face-off between ministry officials and representatives from the Junkanoo Corporation of New Providence taking place at the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture's University Drive headquarters. The press was not allowed in this closed-door session, but from the outside at times we could hear what was going on. And often things became heated, voices rose, and frustration grew. The meeting, called in response to the government's draft Junkanoo Authority legislation, lasted a little over an hour. When it ended, the parties, with no definitive resolution to articulate, were at least polite to one another.
We have several more meetings to come where we'll continue to discuss the betterment for Junkanoo. We've decided to continue to review the bill and get back to it in the next couple of days and continue to go over it until we fine-tune the bill. That's why it's a draft.
I think what we gained here tonight is a little bit more role clarity on the direction in regards to the Bahamas Junkanoo Authority bill. We will meet in the next few days with the various groups and their leaders, and we will come to some determination on the way forward as it relates to any activities.
And earlier in the day, our Lloyd Allen got reaction to this saga from both sides as well as public reaction.
Deep in the conversations with the JCMP, we'll find out that they are missing out on a lot of true facts.
Culture Minister, the Honorable Mario Boleg, defending the government's decision on the introduction of a draft legislation to change the management of Junkanoo, and condemns the actions of the JCNP, which he says are anti-Bahamian and not in the best interest of the country.
This bill in no way, form, or fashion is to disband any Junkanoo corporation that exists.
Speaking with reporters outside Parliament Wednesday, Minister Boleg reinforcing the fact that ongoing dialogue is associated with the draft to amend the management of Junkanoo. In it, a newly proposed authority, essentially replacing the government's role in the cultural event.
We're moving Junkanoo away from just simply a parade to festivals.
Minister Boleg contends once the legislation is enacted, creating a return on the investment is the goal.
Junkanoo is no longer just for competition, it's a business.
The culture minister is also pleased with the consultation stakeholders have already sent on the legislation.
I've gotten reviews from the Grand Bahama corporations, and every recommendation that they send back, I understand where they're coming from, and we will use it.
The public also weighing in on the Junkanoo Corporation of New Providence's decision to immediately suspend Junkanoo activities.
With the government talking, it sense to me to deal with international people all over the world, and if they could bring in sponsors and money from in all over the world, I feel the Junkanoos will end up with more.
It's not good for Junkanoo right now.
JCNP and NJC, they are not living up to what they're supposed to be doing today.
Further dialogue with the JCNP remains a step toward the new legislation. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Lloyd Allen.
Thank you, Lloyd. And the government's taking the long-held advice of a regional political forum and is moving ahead with electoral upgrades aimed at improving efficient and security in elections. Bagosh Lapinda picks up the story from here.
As recent as the 2021 general elections, the OAS Electoral Observation Mission noted that the continued use of voters' ID cards with technical deficiencies was still a concern, particularly the lack of security features to prevent the improper use of cards prepared and issued largely in a manual fashion. The OAS noted that very same concern in the case of the 2017 general elections. At the time, it was recommended that the Bahamas modernize its electoral process by moving towards the use of biometric voter ID cards. Fast forward to Wednesday in the House of Assembly, and the government tabled legislation to do just that.
These measures will vastly reduce any risk of human error and tampering, while ensuring that every vote is accurately counted and protected by robust legal safeguards. The e-poll books, Madam Speaker, will improve election day by providing secure digital access to voter registers, instant biometric verification, and real-time logging of all activities.
The electoral changes are expected to be implemented over several months, during which time wide-scale consultations with stakeholders will take place. National Security Minister, the Honorable Wayne Munro, who has cabinet responsibility for elections, indicated that staff from the Parliamentary Elections Department will also be trained. But the proposed changes have warranted concern from the opposition, concern the Prime Minister shot down.
When you think about the fundamental fact, Madam Speaker, that every voter is going to have to give their consent for these biometrics to be transferred from one department to the next, shows the great gravity of what we are going to be doing, and we feel that the way the government is approaching this, they're diminishing the gravity of this situation.
The law for biometric was introduced by yourselves in 2020. You all were moving to get it done. Right, but the member for Kalani called his election before you'll get it done. The records are there. Just look at the law. That's all we were doing. We have the opportunity and duty to go and brief our people and let them understand what it's all about, and that will happen.
House members are expected to debate the bill before the traditional summer recess. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Bagosh Lapinda.
Also coming out of the lower chamber this morning, legislation introduced to propel the country's financial services sector, known as the country's second largest industry. Fern Gary reports tonight that the bill is also designed to generate many opportunities for Bahamians.
The Segregated Accounts Companies Bill 2025 serves to further strengthen the country's standing as a world-class financial services center. Prime Minister and Minister of Finance, the Honorable Philip Davis, led off debate on the proposed legislation. He noted that the current amendments being debated are long overdue, given the rapidly changing nature of the financial services industry.
You can have a product that is dominant 1 year, and that product could be obsolete the very next year. We saw this last year when our once innovative icon structures were no longer competitive due to changes in the Brazilian market. We moved quickly to amend our laws to allow icons to easily be converted into IBCs and exempted limited partnerships, which prevented any disruptions in the existing icons' activities.
The Cat Island MP noted that upgrades to laws governing the financial services sector are pivotal to ensuring that it maintains its competitive edge.
Time and time again, we've demonstrated our capacity for effective innovation.
Yes, we are.
When it comes to financial services, we don't play.
That's us.
And that is why so many investors come to our shores.
Yes.
We are the ideal place to live
We are Bahamians.
and invest.
The bill also addresses critical market needs while making it clear that the Bahamas takes transparency and accountability in the sector seriously. It also creates more opportunities for Bahamians.
This bill creates unprecedented opportunities for Bahamian professionals. Segregated accounts representatives will command premium fees for their expertise. Corporate administrators will manage sophisticated international structures. Lawyers will advise on complex reorganizations. Accountants will prepare multi-account financial statements. And insurance professionals will advise on services to meet complex client needs. We are indeed expanding opportunities for local professionals.
The proposed legislation also ties in with the digital transformation of corporate services in the Bahamas. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Fern Carey.
Meantime, the opposition's point man on finance, East Grand Bahama MP Kwesi Thompson, reasons that while on the surface the legislation appears to be technically sound, there is still some concern.
This legislation must not become another tool to benefit the well-connected or elite financial players at the expense of ordinary investors. The very essence of segregated accounts is to promise that each client's assets are protected from the risk and liabilities of others. But that promise is only meaningful if it is enforced and clearly communicated. We must ensure that clients, whether Bahamian investors or international fund participants, are made fully aware of their rights, the structure of their accounts, and the protections available under law.
There is this final note from the lower chamber. Government also tabling a new national health insurance bill. The proposed legislation lays the framework for an expanded, equitable health care system that is expected to reduce the high cost of health care in the country. It also comes in the midst of a prevalence of non-communicable diseases in the country like heart disease, cancer, and diabetes. Minister of Health and Wellness, Dr. Michael Darville, revealing that the proposed legislation will address challenges in the delivery of healthcare services.
Access to care is often complicated by distance, a limited amount of healthcare professionals, and financial barriers for many of our families, particularly those in the Family Islands. Madam Speaker, while the current NHI program has made strides in improving primary healthcare delivery to many of our people, they are still unable to access the health care that they need and truly deserve. This bill directly addresses the gaps by modernizing and strengthening the framework under which National Health Insurance Authority operates.
In a moment, the day's other news. Just ahead, Atlantis Hotel is temporarily closing its doors. More to stay up for. You're watching The Bahamas Tonight at 11. Back in a moment.
Step into a life of luxury and convenience with the Commonwealth Bank Platinum Card. From earning premium cashback rewards on every dollar spent to enjoying comprehensive travel insurance, shop with confidence, knowing your purchases are protected. Our Platinum Concierge service turns your requests into reality, wherever life takes you. Let the Commonwealth Bank Platinum Card be your passport to exceptional experiences. Commonwealth Bank, leader in personal banking services.
You've got termites and need to get rid of them fast? Trust Rentokil Initial. With over 60 years experience in the Bahamas, the global brand, training, and expertise can't be beat. Only Rentokil Initial gives you a 3-year warranty and payment plan options on termite fumigation. No one can match the range of treatments we offer, such as fumigation, pre-construction treatments, termite monitoring, and more. No matter where you are in the Bahamas, we will come to you. When it comes to complete termite eradication, there's only one name, Rentokil Initial.
This portion of the news is brought to you by Bahamas Striping Group of Companies, where safety is first.
Back now this Wednesday, Atlantis Paradise Island Resort's Coral Tower will temporarily close after August 17th. And according to Executive Vice President of Administration and Strategic Initiatives, Vaughn Roberts, this is not unusual at all. The statement declaring that for the past 20 years, Atlantis has used the shoulder season to reduce some operations, and this year resort officials will also finish some plumbing repairs, which were suspended earlier due to high occupancies. For the opportunity of a lifetime and an educational experience that has expanded their horizons, there's a group of agriculture enthusiasts who traveled almost 9,000 miles to land in the Bahamas. And if you didn't know, Well, that's 24 hours in flight. Find out the details on where they went and why in this report from our Danielle Dean.
Sometimes, to gain deeper knowledge and perspective, we must deviate from the norm and step out of the box. 23 Bahamians given a unique opportunity to do just this after being engaged in a 2-week agriculture course in Bodine, China. The program, curated specifically for the Bahamas, according to delegation co-head Jensen Williams, was focused on expanding the creation of byproducts after harvesting local fruits and vegetables.
I think with the 23 participants, we will have 23 different takes from the trip, because I tell you, the Chinese showed exactly how they made those various moves, steps historically, through inception to now, and the fight against poverty is an ongoing thing, and they've really grasped that, and they took that to the next level.
BAMSI, BAIC, the Ministry of Agriculture, local government, and Relative Family Islands were the participating parties. Trevon Pinder, BAMSI Extension Officer, has come full circle, having attended the institution himself. But his passion for the industry is not at all new, making this opportunity ideal.
We went to jam factories, we went to gel factories, we went to, let's say, different packaging factories that they had there. And we also got a chance to see the long traditional process of how they made, let's say, but their pastries, their alcohols, I think just in general, there are different packagings for their products.
Both Pinder and his colleague Romeo Josie are two of the future faces of agriculture here in the country. Josie's passion peaked during his tenure at Ellen Coakley High School in Exuma. The then teenager was disheartened to learn the country was importing billions of dollars worth of food. Food security, Josie's convinced, is highly attainable here in the Bahamas. If only we'd adjust our approach and make changes within the agricultural industry, like adopting modern farming methods.
Some technologies we could get into are like drone technologies, where you could that can assist rather than having so many persons or taking up so many time for field work. You could also look into hydroponics. That's a new wave, a new technology, no pun intended with the wave, but a new technology that we could look into in terms of growing our food resources.
The 23 now home hope to take what they've learned overseas and apply it to make a difference in Bahamian agriculture. Reporting for the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Danielle Dean.
Oh, thanks to Danielle Dean. The Antiquities, Monuments and Museums Corporation launching its newest exhibition today. A display of images depicting events leading up to the country's success in gaining independence back in 1973. AMMC Director Don Cornish noting that the intention is to provide Bahamians with a vivid depiction of that time in history through the use of a number of historic pictures and events which helped to shape the Bahamas of today.
And it really is intended to talk about the political struggle that led, of course, to civil unrest in the country and eventually to independence. And then we also want to share just a little bit about where we are presently.
Cornish believes it was important to provide non-traditional elements like the founders of the suffragette movement who are sometimes overlooked in the independence story. The exhibit will be available to the public over the next few weeks.
Well, the project itself was tied in with another project that we did with University of Bahamas just a few months ago. And that was a similar exercise to talk about what happened as a result of the Black Tuesday incident when the mace was thrown out. And so you'll see some of those same exhibits here, and we sponsored that.
Bahamas Tonight at 11, turning to sports next. Here's Amajal Knowles with a preview of what's ahead. Hello, Amo.
Jonquil Jones making her much-anticipated return to the Liberties lineup. Details of that story and more coming up in sports.
In 2010, a grant helped Bahamas striping group of companies get started. Today, that seed has grown into a national force, building roads, airports, and brighter futures. Now, we're leading the way through public-private partnerships, what we call 3 Ps.
where government vision meets private sector innovation. 3Ps empowers local subcontractors, giving them the chance to bid. And with every contract, we're putting money directly into communities, creating jobs, supporting families, and fueling growth. From roads in Eleuthera to community centers in the inner city, we're not just laying asphalt, we're laying foundations for financial opportunity. At Bahamas Striping Group of Companies, we believe in building more than infrastructure. We're building up Bahamians who build the Bahamas. 3Ps, public-private partnerships for people, progress, and prosperity.
It's that time of the year again for Regatta Time Cat Island Edition. It's a down-home experience with great sailing, bragging rights, and so much more. Catch all of the excitement of the Cat Island Regatta on Regatta Time beginning July 31st through August 3rd at 4 p.m. on the ZNS Television Network.
Welcome to your Wednesday Sports Check, everyone. I'm Amajal Knowles, topping sports after roughly a month out of action for the New York Liberty. Bayman basketball superstar Jonquel Jones returning to the lineup last night in a primetime matchup against the Indiana Fever. Jones, who had been sidelined with an ankle injury since June 19th, would post 18 points in a return and help lead the Liberty to a 98-84 win. Jones, the Liberty's third highest scorer, has averaged 12 points and 9 rebounds, along with 2 assists this season, while shooting 43% from behind the arc. New York struggled in her absence, going 5-4 after starting the season 9-0, but are undefeated with Jones on the court.
Yeah, I mean, it felt great to be back out there. Obviously, it's been a while since I've been on the court, but, you know, my teammates have held it down while I was out, and everybody was excited for me to be back in, and I was just as excited. So, yeah, I really enjoyed the moment, had a lot of fun. And yeah, it was great. My conditioning, I feel like I'm like at an 8 right now out of 10, so I'm in a good spot.
MLB Jazz Chisholm Jr. and the New York Yankees in Toronto last night, hoping to get back in the winning column against the Blue Jays. Jazz going 1-for-3, but would blast his 18th homer of the year. That would help the Yanks escape with the 5-4 win. Jazz's 18th homer currently has him 7th among all American League infielders. The Bronx Bombers improving to 56-45 on the year as they try to gain ground on the Jays in the competitive AL East.
I mean, we're very fortunate, you know. This is the team that we gotta be for the rest of the half, and we know we gotta give it all we got. For the pitch right down the middle, man, like, faced him so many times. I've seen all his pitches for the last 6 years, and for me, it's just like, you know, you see a guy enough, you start to really see how his stuff looking.
From this weekend over at Bankers Field on the ladies' side, the Platinum Sharks hoping to stifle the sting of the Black Scorpions. Things would be competitive early on, being tied at 2 runs apiece after 1. The tide would quickly turn as the Black Scorpions would pile on 5 runs in the second and 7 in the third. They would cruise to an easy 15-4 win. Dondra Knowles, the winning pitcher. Kishana Coakley saddled with the loss. In soccer news this weekend, the Bahamas Football Association set to host a pair of U14 girls friendlies against the U.S. Virgin Islands at the Roscoe Davies soccer pitch. 4 matches over 2 days designed to give players valuable experience and fans a chance to enjoy youth football. Recently caught up with head coach Rakia Bain at a recent practice session.
We'll have 24 players, 3 from Grand Bahama, 21 from Nassau, and we look to practice about 3 days before the match. We expect to have our morning games be more developmental. We get girls that are not as technically and tactically strong. We look to give them the morning matches so that we give them more exposure. We're preparing for our 2026 U15 championship at CONCACAF next year. So we're really building a squad that's unbeatable.
Onto the greens, a local fraternity set to host a golf tournament to assist in the medical expenses of one of their own. The Pi Xi chapter of Omega Psi Phi hosting their second annual charity golf tournament set to be held at the Royal Blue Golf Course this coming August Monday. All the money made is in aid of Sean Blyden's medical fund. Stakeholders holding a press conference earlier this week to give more details on the event.
Golf is a gentleman's game, right? And if anybody knows Sean, Sean is a gentleman of the highest order. So it was only fitting that we say, you know what, let's try to do this. Obviously, there's a process, so we brought it to the Brotherhood, and it was a resounding support for him. So definitely it was something that everybody wanted to do. They answered quickly, they answered positively.
For the Bahamas, where we oversee the insurance industry, intermediaries and insurance companies, but more importantly, we saw her as a friend of Mrs. Anthony's Blyden. She is a co-worker of ours, and at the commission, she is family, and we saw it fit to support in any way we can for this.
Let's look at your sports this Wednesday. Until tomorrow, I'm Amajal Knowles, signing out.
Welcome to the Intra-African Trade Fair 2025, the gateway to abundant opportunity, the platform for more, access to a continent with more makers and creators, more technology and manufacturing capabilities, more innovators and collaborators, more information and knowledge, a continent of opportunities for business in more markets and resources that accelerate progress and create space for more infrastructure, connectivity and networking, more creativity, production, and more deals for the people. Afrexim Bank, in collaboration with the African Union Commission and the AFCFTA Secretariat, brings you the 4th Intra-African Trade Fair, hosted by the People's Democratic Republic of Algeria. Over 2,000 exhibitors, 35,000 plus attendees, 140 plus countries, $44 billion in trade and investment opportunities. Register now and enter the gateway to new opportunities.
Breast cancer is the leading cause of cancer deaths in the Bahamas and in Bahamian women. At present, we are unable to prevent breast cancer, but performing screening mammograms can detect breast cancer at its earliest when there are no symptoms and when it is more likely to be treated successfully. All women should have a primary health care provider who is aware of their medical history, family history, and risk factors. Women 40 to 45 years can choose whether to start screening in consultation with their physician. All women 45 to 54 years should have an annual mammogram. Women older than 55 years can have a yearly mammogram or choose to have one every 2 years. Monthly breast self-exams in conjunction with the mammogram can increase the odds of early detection. Be proactive about your health.
Well, the good news is we've made it through the hump. The bad news is we've still got a lot of high 90-degree days ahead. Chief Meteorologist Basil Dean joins us with a look at tonight's weather forecast. Good evening to you, Basil.
Good evening, Caldwell. We're going to get you started in the tropics, and there are two areas we're keeping our eyes on. There's one well over 1,000 miles to the east of the Lesser Antilles. The Hurricane Center is giving that a very low chance of development. We're looking at about a 10% chance of development over the next couple of days. And then there's another area in the Gulf of Mexico, also a low chance of development, and that is moving towards the west. No problem for us here in the Bahamas, but we'll continue to keep our eyes on this one well to the west of the Lesser Antilles and keep you posted of any development of that system. Temperatures around the islands this evening, 84 degrees in Marsh Harbor, Abaco, Green Tool, Key, and also in Freeport, Grand Bahama, 85 in the Berry Islands and Alistown. Bimini in Harper Island, 85 degrees as well. Rock Sound, Eleuthera, 83, Otterstown, Cat Island, 84 degrees, 83 in Black Point, Exuma, Kemp Space, Andros, and Fresh Creek in Central Andros. San Salvador, Rum Key, 84 degrees, 83 in Georgetown, Exuma, 83s in Ragged Island, Clownstown, Long Island, and Crooked Island. Betsy Bay, Maguana, and Acklands at 82 degrees, Magic Town, Inagua, 84, and the Turks and Caicos Islands also reporting 84 degrees at this hour. And our satellite pictures showing the rare end of that upper level low, still producing pockets of showers over parts of the northwest Bahamas, most of which are over the open waters. That is all sliding towards towards the west, so we will see some clearing as we head into tomorrow. Our forecast tonight, partly cloudy, very warm, a thunderstorm in spots late tonight in some parts of the area. The low temperature around 81 degrees. And tomorrow, we're looking at partly sunny and breezy conditions, meaning all of that wet stuff is out of the way. High temperature getting up to 90 degrees. And your extended weather forecast shaping up like this. The weather looks pretty nice as we head into the weekend with lots of sunshine working its way into our forecast. But by early week, we could probably still have an early morning shower or thunderstorm popping up. And those temperatures, they're going to be pretty much seasonal, as we've been saying all week long. They're going to be holding there in the low 90s.
And I'm sure that Basil will continue to monitor closely that system out there in the Atlantic. Thank you, Basil, and thank you for staying up. I'm Corval Pye for Royston Jones, and all of us, take care, be well, and remember, we'll be looking to see you right back here tomorrow evening. Good night.
At Tonic Williams Down Highway, I'm Tijaro Hudson. This is ZNS.